Hi everybody, welcome back to Up in the Air. I'm JP Nicola.
And I'm Hunter Williams. Thanks for joining us.
This week we'll be joined once again by fellow meteorology students here at Penn State for another look into the soybean and natural gas market analysis.
Plus, we'll have stories ranging from North Atlantic ocean circulations to the drought in California.
Not to mention that Amanda Reynolds will be here with our 8 to 14 day climate outlook and hopefully word of some warmer temperatures.
That's right, we'll have all that and more coming up in a bit. But first, here's Update in the Air.
Antarctica has recently set a weather record that many would not expect. An Argentinian research station on the Antarctic Peninsula recorded a high temperature of 63.5 degrees Fahrenheit on March 24th. If this is investigated and verified by the World Meteorological Organization, it could become the highest temperature for the entire continent of Antarctica since records began in 1945. Temperatures were nearly 40 degrees above average this day, and interestingly occurred during the Antarctic fall, not during the height of summer. The Antarctic Peninsula is the most rapidly warming part of Antarctica, where average temperatures are increasing at about twice the global average rate. Also, the Antarctic ice sheet is much different than what scientists thought just 2 decades ago. A study published last Thursday found that the loss rate of Antarctic ice shelves, which help prevent inland glaciers from quickly sliding into the sea, has accelerated by 70% in the past decade. This could prompt climate scientists to raise their global sea level rise projections.
The 2000 to 2003 drought in the American Southwest resulted in a large-scale die-off of forests around the region. Following the drought, a team of scientists set out to develop new modeling capable of providing explanations of exactly how and where the local aspen forest died in response to the drought. The team found that the drought results in damage to the vascular system, which is responsible for transporting water throughout the trees. Through extensive research, the team found a threshold for which the tree's vascular systems were impacted to the extent that damage begins to occur in the tree, and were able to incorporate this into their models to more accurately predict drought-induced forest mortality. These models can now be used to predict future tree mortality in response to climate change, and the team determined that widespread tree deaths as a result of vascular damage from drought could become significantly more likely by the year 2050.
The news coming out of California regarding the ongoing drought continues to not be good. Fresh fruits and vegetable prices remain higher than normal, as California is a major supplier of produce. Most recently, water resource officials are reporting that the Sierra Nevada snowpack is at a historic low, as are many other regions across the state. In fact, the statewide snowpack is only 6% of normal, which would crush the previous April 1st record low snowpack of 25% of normal in 1976-77. This paints a bleak picture, as the snowpack in normal year provides about 30% of what California needs in the summer and fall. Fortunately, the state's 2 biggest reservoirs have managed to maintain much of their water supplies, sitting at 74% and 67% against historical averages. The limited snowpack, however, will certainly challenge the reserves in these reservoirs during the dry parts of summer.
A new study recently published in Nature Communications has found that major volcanic eruptions can significantly alter ocean circulation in the North Atlantic. The study utilized simulations from over 20 climate models and determined that large quantities of particles from the eruptions reflect solar radiation, causing cooling at the Earth's surface. This cooling in turn results in rearranging of ocean circulation. According to the study, volcanic eruptions act as a pacemaker for ocean circulation in the North Atlantic, causing variability over a roughly 20-year period. Members of the study were able to use this information to explain variabilities in the circulation of the North Atlantic Ocean as a result of past eruptions dating as far back as 1963. That's all we have for Update in the Air. We'll be back in a moment with more. Welcome back to Up in the Air.
We are now joined by Max Vito and Josh Google of the Weather Risk Management class here at Penn State for this week's segment on soybean and natural gas market analysis.
Hello, and welcome to this week's market analysis segment of Up in the Air. I'm Max Vito, and will be providing all the information on the recent trends in soybean meal futures and where prices may go from here.
And I'm Josh Google, and I will be focusing on the June future contract of natural gas and the fundamentals impacting the market.
Let's start off by taking a look at the soy meal prices from last week. May soybean meal contracts closed Friday at $321.3 per short ton after trending down all week. Multiple times since the start of 2015, prices have reached the support level between $318 and $320, prompting buying from traders who have held long positions below $300 from October of last year. The trend says sell, with the current price falling between both the 20-day and 100-day moving average. Most factors support this bearish market trend. Approximately 60% of soybeans have been harvested in Brazil, whereas the harvest has just started in areas of Argentina. Recent estimates show crop sizes slightly larger than before, which is a change from the slight downscaling that occurred in previous months. Weather conditions remain favorable for the end of the harvest in Brazil, with precipitation forecast close to average. Argentina is expecting more dry weather, but has seen plenty of rainfall in the growing period, most beneficial to the crop. All indications show that the crop yield will fulfill the market expectations. The U.S. dollar remains strong when compared to the Brazilian real and trended up since the end of last week, which may have explained the falling soy meal prices Thursday and Friday. Countries will start to look almost exclusively to the Brazilian crop, which will be more affordable because of this weak real. Domestically, Gulf's soy meal basis has weakened over the past month. Basis is the difference between the cash price buyers pay for the crop and the futures market price. The weakening basis indicates more supply in the market and less demand, which could be a cause for concern for any traders holding a long position in the market. The USDA will be releasing the March 31st prospective plantings and quarterly stocks report. Traders of the May soybean contract will be looking closely at the soybean stocks, which will indicate the current U.S. supply. The market predicts the stocks falling within a range of 1.25 and 1.41 billion bushels, higher than 1 billion reported stocks last year at this time. If the report shows up at the high end of this range, it'll be interesting to see if the overwhelming supply of soybeans help prices break the support at 318 that has been holding steady since the start of the year. Now on to Josh with the natural gas report.
Taking a look at the weekly average temperature anomalies, you can see the below normal temperatures for most of the country during the first week of March. As spring approached, areas west of the Mississippi, with the exception of Texas, saw a substantial warm-up. Los Angeles has already seen 6 days above 90 degrees this month, and just last Friday, Phoenix got up to a high of 98. The Northeast on average stayed below normal for all of March. This contrast between temperature anomalies across the country has caused some volatility in the price of natural gas future contract, as I will touch on more later. Looking forward, the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting a continuation of this trend into April. As you can see, the forecast is predicting below normal temperatures for the Northeast and Texas, while the West is predicted to see above normal temperatures. The below normal temperatures in the Northeast should create some late season heating demand, which is uncommon given the time of the year. On the supply side, the most recent weekly natural gas storage report released by the Energy Information Administration revealed the first injection of the year, which came as a bit of a surprise to the market. Despite the heating demand in the east, the west region and producing region made up for it to produce a net change of 12 billion cubic feet in storage, bringing the total storage up to 1.479 trillion cubic feet. This total is a 63.6% increase when compared to last season and is right around the 5-year average for the state. These supply numbers overall have had a bearish effect on the market and prevented natural gas prices from rising more than they should during cold shots. The June futures contract for natural gas opened at $2.78.2 at the beginning of March, and currently they are trading at $2.68.5. Overall, March has been one bumpy roller coaster. Prices peaked at $2.98.4 on March 18th and bottomed out at $2.66.3 just this past Friday. The current trend has been bearish, mainly due to the injection of storage revealed in the report last week, along with the record warmth out west. For the time being, this downward trend looks to continue, but prices are near their season low, so most would expect prices to rise eventually given the spikiness we've seen.
Thanks for joining us for the weekly update on soybean futures and natural gas futures. We hope you enjoyed our market analysis and have taken away some useful information.
It's been a bumpy ride so far. Stay tuned next week for an update you don't want to miss. For Up in the Air, I'm Josh Google.
And I'm Max Vito.
Thanks for tuning back in. Now, JP, I think I speak on behalf of just about everybody here when I say I'm about tired of these cold temperatures.
I agree. We now have Amanda Reynolds standing by at the climate wall with hopefully some warmer temperatures in the forecast.
Thanks, Hunter and JP. We are expecting warmer temperatures, and I'll have more on that in just a little bit, but I'm student meteorologist Amanda Reynolds. We begin by taking a look at the average state college snow over the winter season. Typically here in State College, we average around 45 inches of snow per winter season. Last season we had 52 inches. So far this season we also have 52 inches, so we are tied for last year, although this does not include the snowfall that we received earlier this week. So this season will outperform last season, which we thought was a well above average season. Our snow cover across the U.S., most of the snow that has fallen across the U.S. has actually melted. Only parts of the extreme northeast have around an inch or so coating, and areas in the Rockies still have a little bit of a snowpack, around 1 inch in Denver, and areas up in parts of Wyoming still have a decent snowpack of over a foot, and that's up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. It's about 17% covered in snow. This was updated about a week ago, so I'm sure more snow has actually melted, as we have had some above average temperatures over the course of the last week or so. Above average temperatures are the continuing story, something we haven't seen in quite a while, as much of this winter was well below normal. We see a large area of the U.S. is actually expected to be above average for the next week or two. The only area that we are expecting to be below normal is the extreme northeast, parts of upstate New York, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Those areas are expected to be slightly below normal, but again, not too much. While areas, especially down in the southeast, are expected to be well above normal, this is a 90% chance of temperatures being above normal in Florida. So we will make sure to keep an eye on that. Again, across most of the plains, temperatures are expected to be above normal for the next 2 weeks, and that trend continues out to the west. While this part, at least, is not good for the drought so far in parts of California. But what is good is they are expecting some more precipitation. Parts of the east United States are expected to have above normal precipitation over the next week or so, while there's about a bit of a bullseye expected for above average precipitation amounts in areas of southern Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee. While in the northern plains and parts of the Rockies, we are expecting precipitation to be well below normal over the next 2 weeks. But again, the other story is the above normal precipitation that's expected for parts of California. And that is definitely a good sign, as they have been in a drought for several months now, beginning even before we hit 2015. And that precipitation will be warmly welcomed. Although the drought is likely to dissipate in parts of California, the drought in Pennsylvania is alive and well. Parts of the Northeast are actually abnormally dry. We are not in a drought status, although again it is quite dry. Most of the rivers and river basins in this area are well below normal for this time of year. Also a small patch of dry conditions down in the southeastern or western part of the state, excuse me. Again, I'm student meteorologist Amanda Reynolds, and back to you, JP and Hunter.
Thanks, Amanda.
And as always, thanks to you for joining us this week on Up in the Air.
Be sure to tune back next week for another episode. But for now, I'm JP Nicola.
And I'm Hunter Williams. We'll see you next week, Up in the Air.